the sun goes down on you. You gotta keep that shine on top, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As promised, the first ever English video in this channel. I am going to be working on Dream Your Heart Out, which I had promised to you guys. I would start out doing this Bible journaling series, and we are going to be working on day 4. If you guys want to join me on this devotional is sold at Dayspring, and I'm super excited to work on this. I am working on it slowly because I'm also using my Bible with this, so I am using it as inspiration for my Bible journaling. And today we're working on wait for his plan. A lot of the things you're going to be seeing in this devotional is talking about dreams, talking about anxiety, about trusting God in everything you do, and just giving it all to him, which I really love. I feel like this year this is mostly what I wanted to concentrate on. So we're going to jump right into the Bible journaling. For this Bible entry, we are going to be working on Psalms 27. I will be prepping my page with the Gesso. I haven't had any luck yet not using the Gesso, so just to be sure, I don't like any transferring or anything like that. So Gesso is the way to go. If you don't have a hard pulse like me, then you can go ahead and use no Gesso, or just go ahead with the watercolor. But just to be sure, I haven't had any luck. I like to use this. It does take a little bit more time, but it dries really quickly, honestly, guys, and it's cheap. It lasts forever, so I honestly recommend it if you're starting out. The reason I chose this psalm is because it is based on letting all your fears go, letting him take the wheel. God, you have been there for me through it all, so whom shall I fear? A lot of my inspiration in what I will be using is going to be based on the pages. I love the scheme of the Dream Your Heart Out journal, so that's a lot of what inspired me for this page. Now, the watercolor, I'm going to be doing something very simple. I feel like a beginner can do this. Heck, I'm a beginner. I haven't done watercolor in such a long time, so I'm starting to love it back again. And I'm basically just going to do some OG flower shapes and then slowly build it up, because I'm still learning how to play with the water a little bit, with how to build up the color. So honestly, guys, do you get inspired wherever the brush takes you. I love this because this is like a water pen, and you have a lot more control over your strokes and everything like that. Now, if you're doing a little bit of something more open, like sometimes I do a little bit of just splashing and stuff like that, then you could just use a nice flat brush or anything like that. That'll give it that fun watercolor look. And the other good thing with watercolor is that you can still go over the words, and it's not going to cover it so much. You can still read the page. I don't like to do that a lot, but you could definitely do that if you want to fill in the page a little bit more. And also it depends on the size of the Bible that you have. So this one's a little bit smaller, so I don't want it to look too cluttered. Plus, I am basically using the whole chapter. I chose this chapter because I know anxiety can overwhelm us and overcome us during a new year, during a new start. And like verse 1 says, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Whom shall I be afraid? Then in verse 5 it says, for in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon a rock. And this is beautiful for a worshiper. It says, then my head will be exalted above the enemies who surround me. At his sacred tent I will sacrifice with shouts of joy. I will sing and make music to the Lord. Alright, so now that we got extra inspired, I am going to do a little bit of more texture to the page. This chapter just made me feel so peaceful, and that's what's inspiring this page. You guys know I love my florals. I love the beautiful pastel colors, and it just speaks out. Like, you have to express yourself when you do this. This is a way of worshiping, and that's what we're doing here. So I am going to add some more details to the flowers, and you guys can see I didn't do anything fancy, but the more layers you add to your watercolors, the more dimension it's going to create, and the more fancier and pro it's going to look too. So I added a little bit of red because I noticed the flowers in the page actually did have a little bit of orangey and red tones. So it definitely gives it some shadows to the flowers and makes them look a little bit more realistic. Also, the machine you saw before is my dryer. I just wanted to show you guys how I actually use it, but you want to make sure that everything's dry before we start doing the stamping and everything like that. And I'm just starting to just do more layers, more texture to the page, because I feel like it looks a little bit too simple, even though there's like a lot going on at the same time. So I like doing these. This is the elements from Illustrated Faith, and I love these. They always have just amazing things. They actually pulled out a new kit that we might be working on soon if I do get it. But like I said, I want to create this a series for this specific devotional because it is so amazing, and later on we'll work on many others. And now I'm gonna do a little bit of scrapping. This I've been loving to do. It's like a little fun technique, super easy, and I don't use any scissors because I want to keep that texture. And the page I'm using, it just gives such a nice contrast. And this is also from Illustrated Faith. A lot of the stuff that you're going to be seeing is Illustrated Faith. It's very affordable if you're wanting to start out with Bible journaling, and they do a lot of series if you want to like get a little bit more motivated on Bible journaling and get some more ideas. That's where I get my ideas, guys. So no lie, I always get my ideas here. This little heart, I really wanted to put it in the page, but I felt like it was too much at the end, so I ended up not using it. But probably next time. I do have it on one of my pages in the devotional, but that's why I wanted to include it. Plus it also talks about keeping my heart safe, like God keep my heart safe, and all of that. So that's probably why I wanted to like really put that heart in there, but it didn't work out. Not too much layers. I made it a little bit more simple. So I am going to be doing some hand lettering on it and write down a little bit of Jesus take the wheel. I also liked adding a lot of black and white to this theme. I feel like it gave it more of that artsy look. It stood out a little bit more because we already have a lot going on with a lot of color, and it just made it stand out a little bit more, gave it that 3D effect. While I'm hand lettering this, just a heads up, I am going to put all the materials that I used for this Bible journaling entry in the description box. I know I keep forgetting a lot of the times, but I promise you guys I will put it in the description box this time around, I promise. If you do wish to practice some hand lettering, I will put down some of the books that I've used to start practicing that, and gotten a lot better at. And of course the pens that I use, because the pens are actually the difference. It gives you a lot of control. It helps you with the strokes, if it's gonna feather or anything like that, which is usually my problem if you buy any of the cheaper ones. It can happen a lot, but these are amazing. By the way, this stamp set that I'm using was from the Come and Carol, so if it's not in the description box, it's probably sold out or not available anymore. But I love it because it has some music elements, and of course Jesus Take the Wheel is a beautiful song, and I had to. And guys, if you're new to my channel, a lot of the stuff you're going to be seeing, even my Bible journaling, is going to be very related to worship, because I love to sing for God, and I am in worship teams and all of that. So this is basically my inspiration for when I go out and worship. And I like to be prepared, and this is one of the ways I like to get prepared. It just gives me a peace of mind. It prepares me. It gives me inspiration. It gives me word. So that's what you're going to be seeing a lot. And of course, I want to add a little journaling entry here. I was very inspired by this verse, guys. Like, I remember reading it a long time ago when I suffered from very bad anxiety, and it was one of the verses that always helped me remember that God was with me and that He is always going to have my back. And same He will do with each and one of you. He will always have your back. And no matter what, just stay strong. He's going to be there for you. He's going to back you up. And I've been doing this a lot lately. It's like a little slip. So you could still do a little Bible journaling entry and just have it hidden there. Just because they're very personal, I think it looks really cute as well. And we're in the final details. I'm going to be using this, which I forgot where I placed it earlier, but I'm going to get there soon, I promise. I don't know how I forgot about that, but these are the last details. I'm also going to add some tabs, which is like my little detail at the end, a little date as well. This Jesus cardstock, I actually got it in a set. It's also from Illustrated Faith, of course. And if you guys don't have a Cricut or anything like that, like I don't have one, I usually recommend just getting these. And in case you see me stapling this with my tiny attacher, it's because I actually broke the page a little bit. And then I'm creating my tab with some extra scrap paper that I had, just so it matches the page a little bit. Of course, since we used it on the other slip before. I forget the name. That has a name. I'll put it on later. I'll correct it later. And then I did these in sticker paper. They have it in their website. These are digitals and you can purchase them. They always have them available and they are amazing. I was too lazy to use my cutters, so I just actually, I don't know, I used my scissors instead. But they have them in black and white as well. Sometimes I use those. I think I ended up using one black and white. Yep. And I put His plans for me because God is amazing. And yeah, you just gotta let Him take control of everything. He will surprise you, trust me. And add a little washi tape here and there. And I finally learned how to make these little bows. So I think it just looks really amazing, really cute. It adds such a beautiful detail to the page, and it's technically done. I'm gonna add the date and everything, and this page is ready to go.